Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Jono's Late Chat Show. So here I have a special guest with me, Jonathan Kissel, from all the way from New York.
New Jersey, actually, but yes, New York time zone.
New Jersey, New York, that side of the pond for me.
Yes.
I missed that place. I was there 2 years ago, I think. Friends stag do.
Oh, okay, cool, nice.
Yeah, I've always been meaning to go to New York, and when that chance came, when my friends goes, "Oh, gonna do stag do in New York," it was like, whatever it takes, I'm there.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of whether it's to do stag stuff or whether it's just to go over, it's like I need to go over.
Yeah, New York's a big travel destination. Not one of my favorite places for sure. I would rather stay as far away from New York City as possible. But I'm a country boy, raised in the country, and I love the trees. I love the distance between homes. My ideal home would be a home in the mountains on probably about anywhere from 50 to 200 acres of land, far away from everyone, and just in the middle of nowhere.
So tell us more about, because we've been connected. We just had this conversation literally before the show, but tell us about what is it you do? How did you get into what you do as well?
Sure. So I'm a trader by day. I like to play the stock market. I like to purchase options. I've really done that side too much recently. I think this year I've worked 4 different jobs. Just for me, I'm not an employee kind of person. Um, I worked in soldering. I did security, like telecommunications, installing the cameras and security systems, the door lock things. Then I did landscaping later on after, so I got laid off for COVID. And I did landscaping, and I did that for a couple months. And then they got into the summer. I have a very high sensitivity to heat, so I couldn't do that anymore. And then I was doing some handyman work, and the guy, his business was falling short. He was going under by training 2 new people, so he said, "I just gotta go." So I've just decided to kind of work off of what I had saved and do some trading in the meantime, and it's worked out pretty well for me.
So now it's a full-time trading.
It is full-time trading, and the good thing about trading is that it doesn't have to be full-time, full-time. I mean, I think in 2 hours the other day, I made $3,000. So, you know, you're never going to do that at a job.
That's true. So what is it you do now then with your spare time if you're working only 2 hours with trading?
That's about it, you know. I watch my son. My son stays with me during the day. We don't pay for daycare. We do some homeschooling because I find his mother and I are really good friends, and we find that homeschooling offers him the best opportunity to succeed, to find his natural talents and abilities, and it really can accelerate him through the learning stages because he's not held back by the other maybe a little bit slower kids in school, or he has that individual attention so that you can do that. So yeah, I mean that's what I do for the rest of the day. And we go outside, we do our probably about 3 hours worth of work. We do some math, do some reading. He's not even 5 yet. He'll be 5 next Monday, actually. And he's already reading, I'd say maybe like a second grade books. He's been doing math. He's been writing for many years now, and writing small and writing neat. So he's been doing that for about a year and a half, almost 2.5 years now. So I'm very proud of him, and he takes up the rest of my time.
Awesome. So what else do you do in your spare time? Because I see you listed a few things on your profile. I'm not sure if you still do those.
I don't even know what's on my profile right now. I've upgraded it so many times, but I enjoy reading. I enjoy exercising, going for walks and going for hikes, especially. And now that the weather's getting cooler, I really like going outside because like I said, I have a high sensitivity to heat, but I do really love the cold. I love the cold. I love the way my body feels in the cold. I love having the feeling of cold skin on my body. So, um, I just enjoy nature, and I like to live spontaneously. Whatever happens to come up for me throughout a particular day, I like to go there. So, just a little bit of everything, and I'm learning. And I actually recently connected with an entrepreneur who owns his own handyman business, construction business, and we have discussed me breaking away into that aspect of in that side of business, doing some handyman work.
Because you said you do life transformation coaching and personal growth.
Yes. Oh, so that one I haven't actually. I forgot about that. I I haven't worked on that aspect of things for a while, and it's kind of why I wanted to reach out to you today to build my name and just kind of chat and let people know that I do. I would love helping people. I am very passionate about that, and as far as life transformation, I have noticed that when I am going through a funk, when I'm going through something, um, there's always an emotional issue behind it. So I help people. I have helped people in the past. Um, didn't really take off as much for me. I didn't really know how to advertise it. I didn't know how to market myself. So I kind of had to stray away from that. But I'm very good at helping people find what they're triggered by and working through those emotional triggers so that they have a more harmonious connection and relationship with others.
Hmm.
And it could be anything from your family members. A lot of people have triggers with the families, especially around the holiday dinners and family events like that. But I have actually a very harmonious relationship with all of my family. So, um, but as far as life transformation, I like to help people transform their lives by letting go of triggers, emotional triggers, and finding out what they're passionate about and going after it.
And how long have you been doing that, or is that something you're still trying to, like you said, trying to get yourself out there to do more
Yeah,
of?
yeah, I would love to market myself like that. I have a Facebook page, and I haven't even I couldn't get the cover photo updated several times. So after I tried, so it was a little bit more complicated than the old setting on Facebook. But I've been doing that for I'd say 5 years now. I had actually an automobile accident in 2011, December 29, 2011. I was involved in a car accident in which um, I was with four people in the car, and they prefer to have their anonymity, so I won't reveal names or who. But the driver had a seizure from lupus, caused by lupus, and she punched the accelerator, and we ended up hitting a tree at 95 miles per hour. The person in the passenger seat died on impact because the motor was in her seat. The driver bruised every bone in her body. The individual in the back seat on the driver's side actually broke his left wrist, and I had um, a severe diffuse axonal injury, which is where the nerves throughout your entire brain become sheared in half. I had severe double vision, a paralyzed vocal cord, so the loudest that my voice could get was a whisper because it was open, so the vocal cords were not touching. Um, so I had the brain injury, the double vision, and the paralyzed vocal cord. I was medevaced to Morristown Hospital, where I spent 2 weeks in the ICU, intensive care unit, for those that just may not know. And I had to relearn how to walk. I didn't have my balance. I couldn't eat. I had a feeding tube installed. Um, and then after only 2 weeks, so the accident was December 29th, 2011. And I was 2 weeks later, I was declared, I was like, I was showing signs that I would pull through, that I would live. So they transferred me to a normal room, a normal hospital bed for 1 week out of intensive care. And then on January 25th, 2012, just over 3 weeks after the accident, I was declared by the hospital and the insurance companies independent enough to go to Kessler Rehab in Chester, New Jersey. And that was the division of that rehab that specialized in traumatic brain injuries. So while I was in Kessler, I spent 2 weeks in just learning how to walk. I couldn't walk, but I had to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to eat. I lost all my physical strength. My muscles had atrophied. Um, but 2 weeks later, after I got there, I was eating. I was walking on my own power, and they were like, "We can't justify to your insurance company holding you any longer." So they released me and into inpatient rehab in Delaware, because what happened I was living in Delaware on vacation in New Jersey where I used to live and now live again. Um, and then the accident occurred and I went back down to Delaware. And when we went back down to Delaware, we stopped into Morristown Hospital there. And the doctors' mouths, when they saw me walking in on my own power, this 21-year-old boy that was declared almost, they weren't sure if I was going to make it just 3 weeks earlier, walking in on my own power with this brain injury, their mouths just dropped like in a cartoon. Like it was amazing. I've never seen anything like that in real life before. um, so then just I'll stop there and then I'll get into the rest if you have any other questions.
Just wow, like yeah, I don't even know what to say about it.
Yeah, this is the first time you're hearing that too.
Yeah, it's like I have no idea like what even to say about it.
Well, then let me just finish my story. So I went to inpatient rehab. Or outpatient rehab, sorry. Kessler was the inpatient rehab. I went to outpatient rehab. I had a neuro-ophthalmologist for my double vision. So I was wearing glasses at the time. And what they did was they put a prism, this thing called a prism, on one of the lenses so that it shifted the vision from that, I think it was the left eye, up so that it leveled out. Um, I went to an otolaryngologist for my throat. And then I also had some physical therapy, some occupational therapy. Miraculously, I had no occupational hazards, no occupational problems. My memory after the accident is better than it was ever before the accident. I was on medication for mild bipolar prior to the accident. Oh my gosh, I could get into that story too, and I will. Um, I bet I took myself off all medications. I think it was 6 months later. I don't recommend this to anyone. I don't. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not offering any medical advice. I think I have to give that disclaimer or something. Um, but I took myself off. So I've been medication free for probably 8 years now, 9 years. Um, I had no occupational problems. My voice came back. They ended up injecting it with this. I think it was radon or radion. I don't know what the thing that they injected it with was, but um, it enlarged the vocal cord so that they could make contact, and I had at least a semi-normal voice while my brain was healing. 6 months after I got out, 6 months after I was home, I made a full recovery. No more prism on my lenses, no more vocal problems, no physical strength problems, no occupational problems. I was driving. I was living a better life than I had ever lived prior to that. Um, fast forward to November of 2012, I was awarded this Triumph of Human Spirit Award. And I was the only one unanimously chosen by every therapist in the rehab to receive that award. And they have 4 campuses for Kessler in New Jersey. and one person from each campus receives that award at this beautiful banquet and this dinner. It was just beautiful, a beautiful ceremony that they had. I was out of Kessler so fast, I actually didn't meet the president of that campus until that ceremony dinner. And I remember our first meeting. She handed me the award, and I gave a speech, and I still have the speech video recorded. Um, and I had met her that night. It was the most beautiful night of my life, and it's just I was on a journey of self development and self growth from that point on. And the very first question that I ever asked myself was, what's the difference between the mind and the brain? And that led me down this rabbit hole of what the bleep do we know? I'm sure many of your viewers have seen that in self development. And it led me really down this journey of my own personal transformation. How I took myself off these medications because I had gained 60 pounds after I went back on them. I had gained 60 pounds in no, I went on Abilify. I started taking Abilify. It's an antidepressant, I guess. I gained 60 pounds in like 6 months or 5 months. I was working out every day for 2 hours a day. I was like, why am I gaining weight? And I had a dream to go into the United States Air Force. And that's why I was on Abilify. My doctor told me that it would stabilize more chemicals in my brain so that I could come off of it and be stable enough for the 6 months that you need to be off medications before you go into the service. Well, look, I didn't do that. I didn't go down that avenue, but I did take myself off the Abilify, and found myself for the first time in my life ever off all medications. And was told that I would never be off all medications. I would have to take these medications for the rest of my life. And I'm waiting for a breakdown to happen. And there was no mental breakdown that occurred, no agitation, no explosion. So I said, okay, so from this point, where do I go? What's possible for me? Um, and that's when I asked that question, what's the difference between the mind and the brain? I started learning about neuroscience, neurochemistry. Um, I started learning things like the release technique, the Sedona method, which were founded by Lester Levinson. Dr. Joe's work, I've studied his work. Dr. Joe Dispenza, for those that don't know. I really bought books and books, and I did hours and hours and hours all day long of research on the mind, what makes us tick, what causes our behavior, what is the self-image, as Maxwell Maltz says. Neville Goddard will say the concept of yourself. So many different things different things, and then when I started studying different philosophies, different teachings, different teachers, I would question or wonder to myself, okay, I'm getting a little bit confused here. And then I started trying to find the similarities. And then there's really just different names that these teachers and these philosophies use to describe the same exact thing. And it's a very beautiful thing when you can, like Abraham Hicks, even when she talks about the vortex, it's happiness, it's God, it's unity, it's the one, it's there's many different terms for everything. Ralph Waldo Emerson has the oversoul for his word for God. um, Maxwell Maltz has the self-image for you are the formless, shapeless thing in Advaita Vedanta. They say be formless, be shapeless. Bruce Lee says be formless like water, and flow. You could pour water into a cup and it becomes the cup. You pour water into a teapot and it becomes the teapot. And you really, when you can identify as this formless existence, this formless, shapeless awareness, you can kind of mold yourself after anything you want. And I know I've already talked about a lot, but just to kind of give you an example, when I was, I'd say 26, I was regressed back to a hypnosis. I'm also a certified hypnotherapist or a certified hypnotist. Um, when I was 26, I was regressed back to through hypnosis to a time when I was in my mother's womb, and I could very vividly hear an argument that she would have outside of her womb with my father. And after I had come out of hypnosis, I had asked her that, and she confirmed. She said, How would you have possibly known that?" And I told her, and she didn't really believe me. She thought it was just coincidence that I knew that. But I mean, this is just a journey of transformation. But from that experience, I understood that I can mold my son into anything that we want him to be. And from the moment that we found out that she was conceived, we gave him 12 affirmations. You are so happy, healthy, handsome. You are so lucky, smart, and talented, caring, kind, compassionate. You are so loving, sweet, and forgiving. And throughout his 5 years now, we've given him many repetitive "you are this, you are." We have built his self-image, and his life is a perfect reflection of every single one of those. His body is a perfect reflection of handsome, of health. He's been sick maybe twice in his life, but he's so lucky. I mean, people, we tell him all the time, people just give you money for no reason, and he's got over $3,000 from people giving him money for just no reason, and we say that he's abundant, and his caring, his compassion for others, like I said, his whole life has been molded by the affirmations that we've given him, which prove to me that when you can give that to that formless awareness, you can form that awareness into anything that you desire it to be.
Is that from the intention of the energy that you and your wife or partner sends to him?
It could very well be, yes. It could be the intentional, and then once again, it's that as well. So, but I think that proves that if it is the intention, if it is the prayer, if it is formless awareness, whatever it is, I think that they're all just different terms that can be interchanged for each other. But we have the power to mold our lives in any direction that we want to see ourselves. And it only takes persistence, and it takes belief that you can do it. You don't even have to believe that it is. You don't have to believe anything other than you can do it.
Yeah, I can't remember which book I read when you what was the experiment? I think it was with like different types of water.
Yeah.
And like each bag or each type of water, you send a different type of energy towards it, or thought process, or intention towards it. And apparently, the water particles change into certain shapes or something like that.
I don't know if it's Dr. Emoto but he was maybe start with A, but yes, it was a Japanese quantum physicist, I think, that discovered that if you put the word like "I hate you," if you write the word "I hate you" on a piece of paper and tape it to like a jar of water, the molecules of that water will take a very incoherent shape, and then you write the words "I love you" and you tape them on that bottle. The molecules of that water will take a very coherent and coherent shape. And Dr. talks about developing heart coherence, and Greg Braden and the Heart Math Institute, they talk about developing heart coherence within ourselves, and a rhythmic breathing pattern, and how that shapes the energy, the aura around our body, and that kind of shapes or molds our lives into a very harmonious way.
Yeah, I found that now. It's Dr. Masaru Emoto, like you said. The water consciousness.
Yes.
Is what he calls it.
Yes.
And like, so yeah, the intention of the consciousness intention that you put towards these formations in water.
Yes.
And it's just fascination of the photos they took with these. There's like love and gratitude. You have like a very nice icicle shape. And like you have disgust me, or you disgust me, and it's like just all blah.
Yeah, very coherent. I like to say the word coherent, disharmonious, if you will.
Yeah, I'm just always fascinated, like how intentions and thoughts could shape our lives, especially with language as well, right? To our lives.
Yeah. Oh yes, the language that we use. Marissa Peer is a therapist in England, I believe, out by you, and I love her. Her work is amazing. You can find her on YouTube. She's got books. I don't know the names of her books off the top of my head, but Marissa Peer is was voted England's best therapist, and she worked with many actors and movie stars and wealthy people, and she has discovered. She started, I think it was the I Am Enough movement, and that's a great video for you guys, for your viewers to look into, or a great movement for your viewers to look into, is I Am Enough. And she discovered these rich and famous movie stars could have everything in the world, but they're on their fifth wife. They're unhappy with their mansion, with the home and their thing. And she said, it's very simple. I know what's the matter with you, and that's you don't feel that you are enough. Even with all these external things added to you, you don't feel like you are enough. And what she prescribed was a very simple ritual of just, she took the lipstick from 5 ex-wives. She says there's plenty of lipstick in the house. She wrote on the mirror the words "I am enough." She wrote it wherever this movie star would go throughout his day, throughout his house. And I think she saw him 2 months later, and he like, I have to stop you. I have to tell you what a difference this made in my life. I am married. I have a wonderful, maybe it was a girlfriend. He started to volunteer and give his time. Just the feeling of I am enough. It's a feeling of wholeness and completeness. And there's a lot of wealthy people and famous people. Chasing money doesn't give you that feeling. That feeling has to come from within you. It has to be your own self-concept. It has to be self-love. It has to be, I'm beautiful. I'm enough as I am. I don't need anything added to me. I simply want to live my life's fullest expression. What was the purpose that I had to come when I came into this body? Because I do believe that we all have a purpose. And if you can tap into that individual unique purpose, that purpose is one that no one else in this entire world has. And if every single person on earth tapped into that purpose and chased that purpose and lived their life purpose, imagine what an abundant world we would have, where I have enough and you have enough and there's enough for everybody.
But I'm also a bit wary with the words "I am enough." If someone isn't really got to where they want, would saying "I am enough" hold them back from progressing or growth or potential growth?
I would say it doesn't, because I'm an example of that. I mean, I'm in a one-bedroom apartment. I love my apartment. I do. I have free hot water. My electric bill is $8.41 a month. That's like ridiculous. Uh, I got. I mean, I love where I am, but at the same time, it's not where I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling with which you do your actions, it's will naturally, that feeling of I am enough will draw unto you this vision that you hold in your mind of where you want to go. And on the way there, you will not be unhappy. And that's the way that I view it.
Yeah, I'm just curious. That's all, because sometimes I feel like people who hasn't got to where they want, and then they say "I am enough," would that stop them from wanting to progress more because they feel like they are enough? So there's that counterintuitive wording or language.
Yes. Well, also to that point, I would say that a lot of us have these visions, and we chase these dreams that we think will give us that feeling of I am enough.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
A lot of us that have these visions, they may be noble visions, but the issue is, what's the driving factor behind that? What is driving me to achieve this vision? Is it a running away and escaping this feeling of not being enough, of incompleteness? Is
Mm-hmm.
it I'm gonna get that house. I'm gonna get that Lamborghini. I'm gonna strive. I'm gonna hustle. I'm gonna rush. I'm gonna work, 20 hours a day. And the problem is when that is being driven by a feeling of incompleteness, not only will you be incomplete when you get there, you leave yourself open to burnout.
Mm,
Burnout is a very serious thing among entrepreneurs, as I'm sure you know. And it's only like Kamal Ravikant was this. He was on Mind Valley. He has a book, "Love Yourself, Life Like Your Life Depends Upon It." He was one of those people that was running away from that feeling of incompleteness. He had all the money. He was going after that island money where he would just not have to deal with anybody else again. And he had burnout. He had severe health problems. And he, during his time in the hospital, he ended up loving himself and forgiving himself and finding completeness within himself already without having to have that thing. And what he found was that money just effortlessly and naturally came to him. For myself, I've noticed that when I have that feeling, when I walk around with that feeling of I am enough, the people that I look at smile, and the people that I smile at smile. My life and the circumstances go in a more harmonious direction. I run into less failure when I have that feeling of I am enough. The people like this call, I just happened to see you post about that opening on your live chat, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to be a part of that, sure, and just share my experiences and help out whoever I can help out, entrepreneur, regular employee, whatever it is, your position in life. I just think that no matter where you are, the feeling of I am enough, the feeling of I am loved, it really will transform your life into in a way that would make it more harmonious, and just you'll have more success, you'll have more abundance when you start living from that place of I'm complete. I think the Bible, if we dare go there, the Bible says, "To those that have shall be given; to those that have not, even that what they have shall be taken away." And I think a lot of entrepreneurs that have experienced that burnout, that hustle and grinding 20 hours a day, 18 hours a day, even employees, engineers, and many people that IT people, software people, they'll burn the candle, the daylight hours all day long. Lawyers, doctors, people think that I got to be a lawyer, I got to be a doctor, because that's what my family wants. That's what's. Brad, can you turn that down, please? Thank you. Sorry, Bracken, did you hear me? Thank you. That's my son.
that's all right.
But yeah, these doctors and these lawyers, they chase a dream that's not even their own, and then some of them may find that when they get to the end, they're unhappy, they're unsatisfied, and if they had simply, um, gone after what their calling was, what their heart had asked them to do, they would, possibly live a more satisfied life.
Yep, I can definitely relate to that because a lot of in the Asian culture, and this is a story that a lot of us talk in the Chinese anyway talk about is if you're not a doctor, lawyer, and accountant in your parents' eyes, if you don't become one because your parents want you to be a doctor, lawyer, and accountant, you're not deemed as successful.
Yes, yes,
And that's also a comparison to other people's sons, other people's daughters in the Chinese community, or other families that we know, or the parents know anyway, or the cousins or aunts and uncles, right? It's like this whole comparison game, and we become like the pawn.
mm-hmm.
Like we become this chess piece that they just feel like we should meet their expectations.
And I think that a lot of that comes from and those expectations are oftentimes met. They are often at least chased simply because we don't have that feeling of I am enough. I need my parents' love. I need the love of my tribe. I need the love of my family. um, and in order for me to get that love, Kyle Cease is great, and when talking about this, I love Kyle Cease as well. um, we think that in order to get the love from our family, in order to continue existing, we have to do what they want us to do, and we have to make them proud. And the flip side to that is, even when you have it, sometimes you don't make them proud. There's just no making them proud, because the thing is, your accomplishments, your life, nobody can make you feel any certain way. Nobody can add to my happiness. Nobody can take away from my happiness. My happiness is solely dependent on myself. How do I choose to view myself? How do I choose to be and experience this moment?
Yeah, that's the problem we a lot of people face, or at least my generation anyway, is, you know, becoming a doctor or an accountant to seek approval, to seek validation, to seek love, wherever it is. Like, they become one, but then they're not happy.
Yeah,
Like, they're just miserable. They hate it.
hate their
But they
lives.
feel like they're stuck as well, because if they get out of it, they don't know what their parents would say.
Yes. Yes, they do feel stuck. And then you live your whole life being stuck. And then your children and those that are around you can feel that energy of like, I'm not happy where I am. And in the release technique, have a they found that all suffering comes from a wanting. And it's either a wanting, there's one of three wants: wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe. And if you can decide that I'm going to let go of wanting this approval, control, or safety, and I'm going to give myself approval, control, and safety, um, you will find that your feeling, your feelings start to change. Your life will begin to change. There are real estate agents real estate agents and salespeople that take this course, and after they let go of wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe, their dealings with others became more harmonious. I mean, like I've said, I've had a generally very healthy life. I have high energy levels. I'm, a relatively fit person, and I don't even exercise all that much. I do, things I enjoy, but I don't go to the gym every single day. I'm not, you know, and but a lot of it is I've just simply let go of wanting. Whenever I notice that I'm suffering, I'm either wanting control, approval, or safety, and I will let go of that, and I will be happier. And then the circumstance just effortlessly, naturally works its way out, spontaneously works its way out, and I get what I want. And um, it's a very important thing to do, to feel like I am enough, to feel whole. And that's how I help people transform their lives when I was doing that. So
Awesome. And for those that want to get started in a basic way, what's a good way of getting started?
um with me, or with the tools, and
Well, with the tools, we're feeling I'm enough, or just getting, understanding themselves better.
I would say the best thing that you could do is just bring awareness to your subjective states, meaning your mind. What thoughts am I telling myself? There's always an ongoing narrative in our minds.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time that I was awoken to this narrative was at the Landmark Forum. And I took it with one of my instructor was actually British. I don't know who it was. I don't remember his name. But that was the first place that I discovered that I'm the one that gives meaning to events, circumstances, people, and things in my life. And I'm giving narrative to, okay, this is bad, this is bad, and then what feelings follow from that assumption that this is bad. And a lot of times you'll see that they're negative, unhappy meanings. You'll feel heavy. And what if you had the awareness that this is good? I don't know how it's good. I can't see why it's good, but I just want to say that this is good. It's defining everything in your life in a good way, and notice what feelings then you kind of open up to a sense of curiosity. You get a sense of wonder about your life, and you're not really suffering anymore. And then what you experience from that place of wonder and curiosity about your life is that you start seeing good events happen to you. I mean, from defining things as good, even if you can't see why, you will be shown why it's a good thing that it happened. And you can do that for relationships. I know that I did that for some relationships that I had that I just couldn't get over. I said, you know what, this is a good thing that it's over, that it's that I'm no longer with this person, and then something even better comes along. Every single time, every single partner that I've ever had has been better than the last. So they've been a more complete version, and I would argue that it's because I'm a more complete person, because I have filled that seeming hole in my life. You know, whenever you're looking for something, whenever you're striving for something, whether it be a partner, you could lose your keys. Where are my keys? I can't find my keys. You'll never find your keys. It's not until that sometimes that you give up looking that your perfect partner comes into your life, that this perfect opportunity comes into your life, because you're no longer seeking it. In the absence of seeking, it finds you. So the number one thing that people could do is just bring awareness into their life, mindfulness, if you will. Bring mindfulness into their experience and try and make the dots between their subjective states, their subjective thoughts and feelings, and the objective world and the objective circumstances of their life. Just having that awareness, self-awareness, is key to not only transforming yourself, but achieving what you want in life.
I love how you're touching upon self-awareness, because that's been something that I've been doing last 7 years or so now.
Yeah.
Because of that journey of being lost and stuck in my life. But it's just like, something needs to change, man.
But unless the first step to doing something is to admit that you have a problem, and that's self-awareness. Having that self-awareness to say, okay, I'm not happy. I'm not I do feel stuck. And being open to whatever you find within yourself. Don't resist anything, because if you say, I'm not happy, and then you judge yourself, oh no, of course I'm happy. I have this. No. If that first initial thought that you were aware of is I'm not happy, explore it. Okay, let's just play for a second. What if I'm not happy? Why am I not happy? Because I'm working a job that I don't enjoy. Okay, well, why am I working a job that I don't enjoy? Because my parents, they wanted me to do this. This was the direction that they wanted me to go in. Okay, why did I listen to them? Because I wanted to make them proud, because I wanted their approval. And that really, when you start to question these thoughts and explore and dive into these thoughts, you will experience a level of freedom that you didn't know existed for you. And you don't even have to change things. Simply bringing awareness to these issues, to these states within you, can do a lot of the change already.
Yeah, that was the exact process I went through. I was just nodding away. I'm just like, yep, that was me. just being curious, like, why am I not happy? What's holding me back?
Yeah, exactly. And I recently got over this COVID thing. I'm sure I had COVID. I didn't get tested positive, but I found out a week after I had it that one of the people at the birthday party I went to, her birthday party, that she had 4 confirmed cases after the party was over. I think within like a week or two later, they had 4 confirmed cases, and she herself got it. And I'm not, I'm perfectly fine. I have no lingering conditions. Maybe I'm a lucky one, but I like to think that it was hard. I had the fever. I had body aches. My body was shaking. But these lockdowns and this fear, and just having that self awareness of the fear, because oftentimes the fear from these diseases, from these circumstances in our life, from fearing that we won't be enough, fearing that our parents won't give us approval, the fear will manifest in our lives in behaviors, self sabotage, uh, health issues, and things like that. And it's really important to bring the awareness to not only your own life, but how am I reacting to the world outside of me?
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's important to choose the meaning very carefully.
Yes, I like that.
Like, there's a choice on how you want to give things a narrative, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's something that I was that I've learned over the years was change the narrative. Like, if it's bad, why is it bad?
Yes. Yeah. What makes it bad?
Yeah, what makes it bad? It's just having the change of the perception.
Yes, I agree.
So, what else have you been up to since this period, especially lockdown and stuff over your side?
Well, I've actually, I have this beautiful girlfriend. She lives in Dublin, Ireland, and I recently went to see her for the first time in 7 months. And she's a very beautiful woman, very strong woman. And we've been dating over the internet, really just through video calls and messengers on Messenger on Facebook for 7 months. And we recently went and saw each other. I went to Dublin. Flights now are like half price. I think the round trip flight was like $630. The airport was the security was easy to get through. So I mean, if you want to travel, now's the time. You just got to wear your mask on the plane and all. But um,
It's probably safer on the plane than it is anywhere else.
yes, I would agree. I mean, the plane was empty. But I've had developed really a connection with her that I've had with nobody. I haven't had it with anybody else because simply the fact that we've really only been able to connect emotionally and intellectually, and just we are so perfect for each other. So that's what's been going on as well. And you know like I said, I've had 4 jobs this year. I never had a point where I didn't have a job unless I didn't want a job, which is now, because I'm trying to do my own thing. I'm trying to have that income coming in, do those investments, and make some money so that I don't have to go back to a job where I'm tied with my time and everything. Everything is tied to that job. What is my
Mhm.
what is things like that.
So now you get to work on your own projects.
Yes, exactly, and I'm enjoying them very much so.
So how is it over that side, in New Jersey right now?
New Jersey is peaceful. Hackettstown, I live in Hackettstown, if anyone wants to know. It's a very peaceful place. I'm a firm believer in whatever I bring to the world is what the world's going to bring to me. Now, I know that there's a lot of people that have the experience of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York as this rush, rush, rush. People don't want to help you. People aren't kind. Nobody smiles to you. My experience of life in Jersey is completely different. Anybody that I smile to smiles back. Anybody that I ask for help is more than happy to help me. I my dealings in the store and with just people in general. I mean, everybody is a nice person. So, I know in New York City, we've all seen the riots and things like that, and a lot of New York City people are moving this way and experiencing country life for the first time. Across the pond, I mean, I don't know. It's a big, big country, so I can get specific if you have any specific questions. But across the pond I love it. I love it. I'm very proud to be here.
Yeah, I'm just curious. How is it locked down for you guys over there as well? Like during this period.
Our governor, the governor of New Jersey, definitely seems like he's not for the people. He's not serving the people. He's serving his own personal interests. That's just my own belief. Some of the rules that he has just they don't make sense. Um, but as far as I've seen it, I mean, I've never had a problem going to the store. You got to wear masks. Okay, then you wear a mask going to the store. I mean, people in Japan wear masks all the time. I think a lot of the complaints that you're hearing about the mask wearing and things like that, there are other countries that live life completely separate than the way we do, and they wear masks when they're sick, and they wear masks just for public health.
Yeah, in Hong Kong they did that since was it 2013, 2003? I
Yeah,
remember. I think it was 2003. Like it's been like 17 years or so. Like wearing masks is like the norm over there.
yeah, Tokyo and Japan,
Japan was doing it for many years before even
clean country.
SARS and outbreaks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like in the even like the early 80s, they wear masks if they were ill.
Oh, really? It was that far
Yeah,
back?
yeah, early 80s, 90s. Like if they were ill, they wear masks.
Wow.
Like it goes that far back, and I was just like, because I saw some photos and some friends sent it to me, like in the 80s, where people like
Yeah.
who are ill just wear masks. It's just like it just seemed to be the smart thing to do.
It is I mean, to me, it is a decent thing to do. It's it's just common decency because not everybody covers for your mouth. You can't always get to your mouth, when you cough or you sneeze. So if you're sick or you're sick, then by all means do that. At the same time, I mean, I understand completely these anti-maskers. Some of these coronavirus rules just don't make sense. I can't eat outside unless I'm inside outside. Things like that. You can't have more than. I think California is one of the strictest states on these lockdown rules, and they are just ridiculous rules. You can't have more than 10 people in your house from more than one branch of your family or something like that. I mean, California has some stupid rules. California has a max exodus right now because of the tax hikes, the lockdown rules, and the mask wearing. I mean, they're just completely ridiculous. They've gone off the deep end, seriously. So
Yeah. I don't think we're far off over this side. So my friend Ian says it's shit, Jono. Curfew starts again on Friday. Oh wow.
yeah, I think I heard that the British lockdowns, the English lockdowns, Germany is having lockdowns. Ireland is having lockdowns. I know. When I was in Ireland, I couldn't go more than 5 kilometers from the house. So, or was it 2 kilometers? One of the two. But it was a very short distance, and so we couldn't really explore Ireland like we would have if we had more time and more freedom. I think that these lockdowns are personally ridiculous. Even the WHO have said that lockdowns are counterproductive to herd immunity. I just got over it. I know somebody over there that got over it. I mean, he had it back in March. He had a stroke because of it. I'm pretty sure. He's made a full recovery, but he was about 38 years old. Um, Other people have died, but at the same time, I mean, I follow jiu-jitsu grappler Gordon Ryan, one of the best in the world, and he's here. He was here in New Jersey. He just moved because of the rules of New Jersey. Um, but he had COVID and he had underlying asthma conditions. But even he was saying, "Listen, if I die, I die. But we can't shut down our lives. We can't stop living life the way that we have to live it." He was one of the ones that said, "I'm the first one that would tell you that I have asthma and it could affect me bad." And he did get it. He ended up getting it, and he made a full recovery. So I don't know. These lockdowns are crazy, and then you got the whole elections. I don't know what's going on over there. I just want to set the record straight. Joe Biden has not won yet. All right, there are so many legal battles. None of the states have certified. I am a supporter of freedom, and in my eyes, Trump offers freedom. I think that Trump has done more for America than any president since Ronald Reagan in the 80s. I think that I know I might be getting into some territory here where
More than welcome. Like whatever. Like I'm open because the thing is, like you say, it doesn't. Well, it doesn't affect us in a way,
yeah,
but it still doesn't affect the choices we make, how we live every day, right?
I,
What we believe is what we believe. It doesn't change what choices we make, how we live our lives.
but from somebody that's had firsthand knowledge of Trump, yes, he has had some very questionable tweets. He has made some very questionable statements towards people. We all have. I think that when you look at his heart and the people that love him, the people that love him are irrational or not stupid, like the media would have you believe. Like I've seen some memes. The people that love him love freedom. He has spent more time in working hours than any president since Ronald Reagan, or maybe even in the whole 20th century. I mean, um, he's not a sellout. He will not sell out. He holds countries accountable for taking advantage of America, and I think that we need that. This country, the world needs it. And if you look at Joe Biden, and the platform that they ran on was basically a communistic platform, a socialism, communism. One's you're forcing your way in, one you're getting into through elections. But I truly believe that, and I'm not set in my ways where I'm not closed off to anything. I mean, whatever. But I know that over here we have the mainstream media, CNN, even Fox News now, MSNBC, all of your mainstream news sources, and I think that we have seen this from the coronavirus pandemic, are all running on the same script, and it's an anti-freedom, anti-liberty script, and then they want to lock you down. We've seen across the world how these governments are trying to take control in lockdowns and mask mandates, and against what they know to be their better judgment. I mean, I know myself and many others will not get this coronavirus vaccine. I would rather die than get this because I know what's going to go into it. I know some of the damage that can be done. I've seen firsthand mothers at these anti-vax rallies. And once again, I'm pro-choice. Whatever you want to do with your body, if you want to vaccinate, go ahead and vaccinate. I'm never going to tell you that you can't do something. I'm all about personal freedom, personal liberty, and the like. But some of these people that have been at these stop this forced vaccination rallies have had infants die, and mothers that have seen permanent neurological damage from these vaccines. My son is not vaccinated. He learns at an accelerated rate. He is a perfectly happy, perfectly normal, perfectly healthy boy. He's gotten sick twice or three times in his life. For a child, that's pretty rare. So I can only speak from experience, and
Mhm.
I've seen the data. I've seen that these vaccine companies are not being held liable for any damages caused. What does that do? I mean, it doesn't take a genius or rocket science to see that if a company is not going to be held liable uh, to the damages caused by the product, why would they care about the safety studies? I know some of these vaccines have not even gone more than a 3-month trial period. Um, I mean, it's bad. So this vaccine that's going to be coming out, Trump doesn't want to force. He doesn't want to mandate it. Biden does, and to me, that's pretty clear statement of who I would vote for. Not only
Yeah, so the way the countries have actually the media companies have been controlling the pandemic. Even I would say just the way they've mediated it across the world
yeah,
is
you control the narrative and you control the person.
yeah, that's again, it's controlling the narrative. And
Exactly.
what best way to do it than just news, right? Every day you turn on the news, that's it, you're sucked in.
Exactly. Yeah, I haven't watched the news in many years. I'll watch, video clips and things like that online just because it's almost unavoidable, and I do look into it. But um, you know, it's so important that each individual controls the narrative in his life, controls the story in his mind, controls the meaning that you give to things, and the meaning that you give to things will create the next circumstance and the following circumstance. And that's why people that give the meaning. I think there's an ancient Chinese story, an old Chinese story about this farmer whose son um, runs off and or no, he has a horse, and the horse runs off, and everybody in the town or neighborhood says, "Oh, how unfortunate that your horse ran off." Well, the next day and the farmer says maybe. So the next day, this horse brings back 4 or 5 wild stallions, and they're like, "Oh, how fortunate that that happen for you? And the farmer says, maybe. And then the next day, the son gets on one of these wild stallions and it bucks him off and he breaks his arm. And they say, oh, how unfortunate for you that happened. And the farmer says, maybe. And then, the next day, the following day, the military comes and takes everybody, but they left the farmer's son because he was disabled. He had a broken arm, so he couldn't fight. And then everybody says, how blessed you are, and he says maybe. And it just one story after the other, and his response was maybe. And it just goes to show the meaning that we give to things. Um, in this case, he didn't give a meaning to anything. So and it just changed and flip flop. But at the same time, everything happens for a reason without giving them that meaning. So I think it was I was listening to this video on Taoism the other day, and it said something about life unfolds effortlessly in the direction of your dreams without your conscious interference. And I think that really made a statement when we get out of the way, when we get out of our own way. A lot of people use the phrase get out of our own way. Basically means just stop giving the negative meaning to these events and these meaningless circumstances. When you get out of your own way, life can unfold for you. But you are an intricate part of the entire universe. You are an individual, but you are also connected to every other point of existence. So whatever your life is the unfolding of the universal intelligence, the universal plan. And when I get my ego out of the way, and the ego says, oh, I am this person. If I am this person, then I have to do this to survive. When you let go of that whole narrative and you just listen, the easiest way, Alan Watts says, the easiest way to get into the meditative state is to begin by listening. And then as you begin by listening to your external sounds, and then you listen to your thoughts as if they are external to you. You can never hear the listener. You can never see the seer. The eye cannot see itself without the use of a mirror. And the world is a mirror reflecting back to us what we are. So if we don't like what we see in the world, we can change ourselves. And then therefore we would effortlessly change the mirror of the world.
Yeah, that's something that I always say is, if you want to see the change in the world, be the change in the world.
I love it.
And that's just something that's like, we say life happens for a reason. It's like, well, you create that reason.
Yes, exactly.
It happens because you created it to happen.
Exactly.
The good, the bad, the ugly, the pretty, whatever it is, it happened because you created it. Unconsciously or consciously, it doesn't matter. You created it.
Yes.
And so that's that's the way of I feel is one of the. I think it's something that's hard to understand, but like you say, it's the awareness. So it's having the open awareness to get there.
Yes. It's just being open to whatever you discover, exploring, curiosity, wonder.
Like you said as well, get out of your own way. Get over that ego, let the ego go, and just get over it and get on with it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. For me, I like to say that I have a big ego, but at the same time, my ego is in check. So if it comes to a point where just to recall one event that I know had happened, I was working one day and my friend and I, we fooled around physically and joking and things like that. And he slapped me and I think I slapped him back. And it was a joking thing, but I could tell I had the awareness to see the way his face had changed and maybe I did it a little bit too hard. So I just backed away. I was like, listen, and I just kept my hand in front of me and I had it on his chest and said, listen, neither one of us is going to exit this fight without some kind of damage. I know that you're upset and I'm sorry. Now I'm going to walk out that door. I'm going to come back in the other way. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, wash my hands, do whatever I gotta do, come back in, all right. But I'm gonna walk out the door, and I did. And I think that was one of those points where I could have had an ego. I could have had an enlarged ego that said, "Oh, I'm gonna fight this guy. I'm gonna prove to him," right? Because that is the ego. That is the ego that says, "I need to prove myself. I need to defend myself." But I had the higher awareness that was like, "Listen, there's no reason to defend myself. This was simple joke, simple thing that maybe just went a little bit too far. He was Italian and he had a short temper, so I'm not Italian kid. I knew that he had a short temper, and I could see when he went unconscious and he saw red, and so I was like, listen, I'm gonna back away. I'm not gonna fight. I'm gonna go out that door. You take a deep breath, do whatever you got to do, and I'll come back. And we were fine. And we had several experiences like that. Another example of where I think my ego is in check. I am a great guy. I'm an amazing man. I care so much about the world. Care so much about others. I love life. I love the world. I love helping people. And when people say, oh, you're so amazing, I'll be like, I know I am, because it's true. But at the same time, I have that awareness that I created this, but something had to intervene at some point in my life, something greater than myself, to bring me the awareness that I can create this. So I don't lose sight of that fact. So I'll be like, yeah, I am amazing. I am, wonderful or whatever. But at the same time, I know that it's just this is all a game. This is all a play of life.
Well, the thing is knowing your values, isn't it?
Yes.
The more you know your values, know what you stand for, your intentions pure, you're good, you're doing whatever it is for pure good for the world.
Yeah.
There's no need to deny what's not true.
That's false humility.
just accept it, right? Like you said, just accept compliments, whether it's good, bad, feedback, negatives. Like, oh, you're a bad person. It's like, yeah, cool, yeah, I know I am. Like,
yeah,
we all do bad things, wherever that bad is.
yeah.
Right. Well, however you define bad.
Yeah.
Everyone's definition is different. Like people say smoking is bad. It's like, is it?
I would agree with that. I would say it is, but
everyone. There's the thing, right? So some people say it's not bad. Some people would say smoking is good for them or whatever. Like they've been smoking for 60, 70 years and nothing's happened, whatever, right?
Yes.
And then there's other people like ourselves who go, no, we like fresh air better.
Yes. I like to breathe fresh air. I like to have water more than soda. I like to have.
Yeah, so we think smoking is bad. So, but then some people say different. Was like, is it good or bad? Who knows? Yeah, but personally, I wouldn't. But that's their choice, right? So respect their choice and go, cool.
And that's what it is. It's about respect. It's about understanding. And I think one of the ways I had this awareness, this awareness of a thought that every conflict, every argument in the world stems from a misunderstanding. And when you understand what is that understanding between two individuals, between a group, between two offices, between two different ideologies, you can dissolve the misunderstanding into a ground. The conflict will disappear. There's no need for the conflict. There's never a need for conflict. There's never a need for fighting or arguing or anything like that.
It's the conflict within, isn't it? The internal conflict.
It's within two individuals. I would say I would agree with that. It's within, like a lot of people that I've. Sometimes I am a conflict resolver. I offer conflict resolution, and between my two brothers, for example, and I was just saying, well, you're right in this aspect, and you're right in this aspect. Did you know this? Oh no, I didn't know that. Did you know this about this person? Oh no, I didn't know that. Okay, so there was the misunderstanding, and then we have peace in the house. So it's just a simple, okay, even if the variable is unknown. It remains unknown. Let's just let go of our fighting. Let's get out of our own way, and let's find out why. What's the variable that we're not seeing here? And once that variable becomes conscious, um, you know, oftentimes 99 times out of 100, the misunderstanding in the fight resolves itself. The only time it doesn't is if the other person's ego is too big and they don't want to see past their own self.
Yeah, I remember just reading this other day as well. Saw there's their story, your story, and then there's the truth.
Yes, yes. Now, I do find that a lot of times my story is the truth. Humbly so, because the person says, "Oh, you are completely right." Now, whether that's consciousness, the higher consciousness speaking through me throughout the conversation, I'm like, no, I mentioned this. I specifically mentioned this. This is one of the things that I love about my girlfriend so much, is that she will be the first one to say that I am right. And it's not just like a conflict resolution. It's like truly seeing, oh my God, you did say that. You did do that. You are right. So a lot of times I am right, but I won't. I will always take that time to show you and get you to understand. And if I'm wrong, I will be the first to admit I'm wrong. I have no problem with that.
Awesome. Hey, I know we're out of time. I know that you've got your kid to look after as well.
Yes,
But I appreciate you coming onto the show and sharing your wisdom and your story. Like, wow, like you wouldn't even imagine that what you've gone through, right?
exactly.
Have you written a book about this yet?
I have 2 books on Kindle in the Kindle store, I believe. You could just look up Jonathan Kissel. I have not written a book about it. My aunt, the person that I was in the car with, they did not want their name out there. They didn't want this story out there. So I kind of didn't, out of respect for her. But I do have, says you were right. Yes, my girlfriend does say I'm right.
you need to teach him.
Yeah, I will. Well, you just gotta know that you're right, and don't just falsely claim you're right, and then she'll mirror that back to you. But I would say I haven't written a book about it yet. I do have 2 books on the Kindle store. You can look up my name for the author, and one is The Essentials of Expanded Consciousness, and another one is I don't remember the name of it. They're very short books, but yeah, I do believe that maybe it's past time that I do write a book about this.
Hey, since you got so much free time, right? I'm joking.
Yes. I love everybody that I tell that story to has the same reaction.
You definitely need to write about it, mate. Like, what a journey! Like, seriously, you just can't even imagine it.
Yeah, I know. It's beautiful, and I'm so thankful for every little bit of it.
Awesome. So, Jonathan, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Definitely we need to catch up again soon. After that.
Yeah, sounds great. I love it. I'm all
Awesome.
All right, Jono.
Jono works fine.
All right. All right. Well, it was great. And thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Jonathan.
You're all right. Have a good day.
You Bye-bye. Too. So, thank you for tuning in tonight. I appreciate it. It's gone a bit longer than we normally do on a Wednesday evening. But, yeah, for Jonathan and I, he's been on, like, we connected for a few years and didn't really get to catch up with him. And then he just dropped me a note and said, hey, I'd love to come on your show and just chat. So, I decided to bring him on and just see where the conversation went, and this is it. We talked about consciousness, talked about self-awareness, talked about intentions, definitions, meaning of life, meaning of perception, meaning of words. Like, these are the quality conversations that I've been attracting as of late. The more I've been doing the podcast interviews as well, since July, the more quality conversations I've been having with people about different things like consciousness, self-awareness, deeper meaning of life, meaning of words, and really fascinating stuff. So hope you enjoyed that. I definitely need to bring on another guest at some point for next week. So if anyone, or Friday, if anyone wants to jump on to the show and join me, join Ick or join Delara on Friday, or join me on next Wednesdays, let me know, drop me comments, and appreciate your time. And thank you all for tuning in. Have a lovely week ahead, and I will see you all on Friday night, 9:30 p.m. for Love and Relationships late chat show with Delara and Ick. So have a lovely evening. See you all soon. Peace out.